Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shranvannutibhisida Sadanam Shri Mahaganadipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, let me first greet you all for the New Year 2013. I wish you all a happy New Year 2013. Though as students of Vedanta, we consider this counting of time, that is this reckoning of time by days, months, years, etc. It is something which is a continuous flow of time, and time itself is a manifestation in that, what is that? Avidya or Maya. Time itself is a manifestation in that Avidya or Maya. But for all Vyavaharika purposes, we have to accept it, because we live in the day-to-day world, we live in a transactional world, and then we are taking up day-to-day activities. So that is why we have to reckon, we have to admit, we have to follow that etiquette according to the transactional reality. So, but anyway, but the student of Vedanta also knows that this reckoning of time, as I was saying, is just a manifestation within that Maya. And then if we see the calendar, we have our own calendar. For instance, in Andhra Pradesh and in the entire South India, we follow a calendar called Shalivahana Shaka. And Shalivahana Shaka is almost simultaneous with the Christian era. That is in the 1st century AD it started. The North India follows a Vikrama Shaka. So Vikrama Shaka is named after that Vikramarka, the king Vikramaditya who was there in North India. Shalivahana Shaka is named after a king named Shalivahana. And then the present Shaka which we are now celebrating, that is 2013, it is actually called a Gregorian calendar. You must be knowing that it is according to a Gregorian calendar. It was started in sometime in 16th century. Till that time, the Western countries, they were also following a different calendar. Something started by Julius Caesar, it was called Julian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar was introduced by some Pope Gregory sometime in the 16th century. So what started in the 16th century has now become a universal phenomena, and we have forgotten our own, Shalivahana Shaka, our own Vikramarka and whatnot. So all this Shaka basically, again, it is calculated, Shaka starting with a famous personality. But then even much before that, this calculation of time was going on, synchronizing with some astronomical phenomena. There was some equinox or some other eclipse. So depending on these astronomical phenomena, the time was being calculated. So this was going on for years and years, for centuries and centuries, or for millennia. But then at some point of time, we started reckoning, counting it in the name of a person. So that is how we are celebrating this thing. And then of course, now we are seeing that there are so many people celebrating in a different fashion. Many people go to pubs, bars and all that. And it is a big business also, you know. And now the papers show that we are also, on one hand, the whole nation is, grieving because of the ghastly incident which has taken place in Delhi, that rape and murder, ghastly rape and murder. But at the same time, the business people, the people who are doing business on sex, they are inviting people girls from outside the country. They are calling girls from other countries, and then they are making a thriving business out of this obscene dances and whatnot, promoting more vulgarity, promoting more decadence in the society, which actually is contributing to this behavior, to this criminal behavior, and we are forgetting that all these things. So, but anyway, what all they may celebrate or they may indulge in all those things, but students of Vedanta, very recently we have seen that, what is that? Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Samyami. So all these people may be indulging in all these revelries, New Year revelries and merrymaking. But then we have to come back to our Paramarthika Satya. So we have to come back to our Trutiyodhyaya, which we have to start today. We have completed this Dvitiya Adhyaya. We have to start this Tritiya Adhyaya becomes Tritiyo Adhyaya. This Tritiya Adhyaya, the name is, we know that it is Karma Yoga. And we know that that every chapter in Gita is called a yoga. This we saw in the very first class of first or second class of Gita. Yoga comes from the root yuj, to unite or to be associated with. This Karma Yoga is one of the very important points. Why one of the most important point which is mentioned in the Gita. And we have seen this second chapter giving a whole outline of the Gita Shastra. The whole outline of what will be told in Gita, it has been given in second Adhyaya. Second Adhyaya, it first told you what is a Jnana-nishtha. It told about Nishkama Karma. It told about Karma-nishtha. So it gave a complete picture of what it is. This third chapter is continuing the same thing. Then there is a Sambandha Bhashya here. First we have to read this Sambandha Bhashya. Before that, let us recapitulate about what we have learnt about karma. We have seen that karma or action is basically in 4 stages. Karma or action is basically in 4 stages. Number 1, when we say karma, we are talking only about Shastriya karma, that which has been sanctioned or permitted by the Shastra, that which has been approved or sanctioned by the scripture. We are not talking about the Asastriya karmas, like what we said, this Russian girls coming and dancing in pubs and all that, and then we are not talking about Ashastriya karma, we are talking about Shastriya karma, like this ritual, Dhanam, Yajnam, things like that, all these things which a man is supposed to do. So this karma for the sake of personal prosperity, that is called prayas, that is for earthly prosperity. Abhyudaya, it is called Abhyudaya, for the earthly prosperity. That is called ordinary karma. That is an ordinary karma with a very clear desire for a personal prosperity in this world. That is karma. Then the second stage we saw is Nishkama karma. That is, you do not want the fruit of the karma. Anyway, the earthly result of karma will come. Suppose Arjuna is doing a war. Arjuna is doing a war as Nishkama karma. The earthly result is that removal of that bad, that eradication of evil, and then establishing a dharmic empire. So that result is achieved. But then this man, while doing that karma, he is not tainted by the merit or demerit of that action, this punya or papa. So he is not tainted by that. So that is the Nishkama karma which a person can do. Arjuna, of course, it is the duty of the Kshatriya. For other people like us, we have got our own duties. For all the people, depending on their own varna and then ashrama and then depending on their own dharma or swadharma, whatever has been enjoined on these people by the Shastras, we are supposed to do our dharma. And then while doing those actions, we do it for the sake of society, for the sake of loka sangraha, to set a good example before the society, for all the people, and then as an order from the Lord, that is an Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. When all these things are there in our mind, that is called Nishkama karma. So the second stage is Nishkama karma. The first stage is pure karma for one's own selfish, let us not say selfish, personal prosperity. Then the second stage is that Nishkama karma for the sake of society, recognizing that the greater order which is there in the society. The third stage is a Jnani karma. A Jnani, he is a person because of his prarabdha. We have given the examples of this Janaka, King Rama, and Lord Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. So we have come across these things. So these people, Lord Krishna, we cannot say Lord Krishna was an ignorant man because he was doing karma. Lord Krishna himself, he was the person who was negotiating between Kauravas and Pandavas. He was moving here and there. He himself came to war. That is, though he was basically an advisor or a sort of counselor for Pandavas, he was physically present in the war. So like that, he was doing some karma, but we can't say that Lord Krishna was an ignorant man because he was doing karma. Whatever he did was a Jnani karma. He was a Jnani. At the same time, whatever was there, according to the prarabdha, he was doing the Jnani karma. Then the fourth stage is sannyasa, where total renunciation. So with respect to karma, there are four attitudes as we see. So that is what we are going to see in this introduction here. Let us, shall we read this introduction? Or before that, I will just give a very brief outline of the whole picture of the whole chapter 3. This chapter 3 can be seen in, it contains, that is, let us say Adhyaya 3, Karma Yoga Adhyaya. It contains 43 shlokas. 43 shlokas. It can be broadly divided. You can't say very, very clearly, but broadly it can be divided into three parts. The first part is Karma Yoga, what we have seen in second chapter. They say that has been that Nishkama Karma. It is slightly elaborated in this Karma Yoga. And while elaborating this Karma Yoga, the first part is in Shloka 1 to Shloka 20. Shloka 1 to Shloka 20 deals with Karma Yoga. And in that process, two new concepts are introduced here, which we did not see in chapter 2. That is the concept of Yajna and the concept of Guna. The concept of Yajna, what is this Yajna? Yajna, of course, we are going to see in very, very great detail. To give you a very, very brief picture, Yajna, we know that somebody, some Panditji will come. Not only one Panditji, say over a dozen Pandits will be sitting there. Somebody will be doing some Rigveda, somebody will be doing something else, somebody doing something Havan, somebody is reciting a mantra. So there are so many angas, so many limbs in that, so many components in that Yajna. So that is one type of Yajna. But Yajna in a different sense is used here. That is, the basic say point here is that Yajna is something, whatever action is which is done for social, for a universal good, let us say. Whatever action which is done for universal good is called a Yajna. Jnana Yajna. You are teaching, attending Gita Jnana Yajna, we say. What is Gita Jnana Yajna? Whatever is there in Gita, this Jnana, dissemination of this Jnana itself is a Jnana Yajna. Then Tapo Yajna, you do some tapas, you do some upasana, that itself is a Yajna. You do some dhanam, that is another type of yajna. Whatever you do, any action which is done for universal good is called a yajna. So in that very, very broad sense. And also another principle also is mentioned, that is the whole universe depends on the principle of interdependence. There is a question of give and take in everything. Everything depends on everything else. The very fact that we are sitting here, we are depending on the universe, in the sense that if I don't take my breath even for 1 minute, I will be suffocated. So if this temperature is not there, we will be suffocated. If this atmospheric pressure is not there, our body will bloat and then it will just, they will just explode and the body will be no more. So like that, everything is dependent. The moment you breathe, every second we breathe, we are dependent on this universe only. So everything is dependent on everything else in this universe. So that principle of interdependence is it is described in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in very great detail. There is a one Brahmanam called Madhu Brahmanam. In that Madhu Brahmanam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this principle is very clearly explained, and that is taken as say in a different form in this Trutiyodhyaya to explain this concept of yajna. Then this guna is another thing. Chaturvarnyam maya sushtam guna karma vibhagashaha. That is what we are going to see in fourth chapter. But anyway, this guna I have briefly explained whenever there was some context. These three gunas, this sattva, rajas and tamo gunas, these three are the driving forces. These three are the components which go to the making of a man's personality. Man means a person's personality. So that is another concept which we are going to see in this Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga from Shloka 1 to Shloka 20. Thereafter, the second portion is Shloka 21 to 35. This describes the conduct of a Karma Yogi. Like we saw the conduct of a Sthita Prajna, how a Sthita Prajna conducts, Ka Bhasha, Samadhistasya Keshava, all that thing, that was the status of a Jnana, that was the state of a Jnani, how a Jnani behaves. Then here, how a Karma Yogi behaves. So this Shloka 21 to 35, it describes different stages of Karma Yogis. Of course, here and there, say there are one or two shlokas which also describe a Jnani. it is slightly difficult to make a very clear demarcation because the ideas overlap. But by and large, this sloka 21 to 35, they describe the conduct of a karma yogi, a person who is doing that nishkama karma. Then the subsequent thing, that is sloka 36 to 43, the last portion, they analyze this kama and krodha, basically the desire. What is that desire? The desire which is the driving force behind for every human activity. And then in case that desire is not fulfilled, what amount of frustration, what amount of tension, what amount of anxiety a human being undergoes. So all those things, this kama leads to krodha, sammoha, all those things we saw in chapter 3 also, in chapter 2 also. That will be elaborated in this last portion of karma yoga. So this way we can see the broad picture of karma yoga. So anyway, we will come to this Sambandha Bhashya. So there is a slight Shastra discussion in this chapter. Shastra discussion means we know that Shankaracharya is quite fond of, we can't say he is very fond of, it was actually his duty at that time. It was actually his duty at that time to to some extent curtail the impact of the Mimamsakas who were totally ritual minded. At that time, in Shankaracharya's time, it's a different impact, different influences were there on the society. Number one was the Mimamsaka impact, who were totally dedicated to ritual and nothing else but ritual, and then only ritual will directly lead you to heaven. So I do this yajna, it will directly lead me to heaven. So a question of, it is something like a trade-off. It is something like a trade-off. You go to do some puja in some Tirupati, say according to that whatever that menu card that is given, and then you will get this particular punya. So something like that, that impact, very severe impact of ritualism was there on one hand, and on the other, the impact of these Buddhists was there, where they were totally denying everything, even this what is called Sat, this Brahma. This very existence of Brahma they were denying, they were proposing, at least one group of Buddhists who were very prominent at that time, they were proposing a Shunyavada. So his duty was to counter this two types of extreme views, let us not say extremists, two types of extreme views. One is extreme Karmavada and the other is extreme Shunyavada. And then in that Shunyavada, one group was also saying Jnana, Vijnanavadi, he was only saying everything is Kshanika Vijnana. The moment I see something, there is a Kshanika Vijnana, and thereafter that Vijnana dies and then there is nothing. So that's Shunyavada. So his Shankaracharya's problem was to bring out some sort of middle way. You reduce this extreme view regarding ritual. You also counter this Shunyavada and then establish that there is something called Brahman, there is something called order, there is something called some reality, which is the substratum for all things. Even when you say Shunya, there should be somebody to perceive that Shunya. When you say there is nothing, it is all Shunya, who are you who is saying? So you are there first. When you say that I perceive, I say it is all Shunya, then you are there first. And what is that you? That you itself is Atma, that you itself is Chaitanya, and that Shunya has to be perceived against some background only, and that background or a substratum is called Atma. So, of course, this is an oversimplification of Shankaracharya's argument, but then if you see this logic in Upanishads, you find in greater details. In this Upanishad Bhashyam, you find this thing in very great detail. So his job was to Shankaracharya's job was to counter Mimamsakas on one side, that is extreme ritualism and extreme nihilism. So that is how he had to do that. So that is why we should not say Shankaracharya was fond of criticizing Mimamsakas. It was necessary at that time. It was his duty. So that is why whenever there is an opportunity, whenever there is a need, rather, he takes up this discussion on this Jnana Karma Samuchaya, and then he says these two things are incompatible. This Jnana Karma Samuchayavada we also saw in the second Adhyaya. By now I think you have some idea, and I don't think you have totally forgotten, you have some idea. So this Jnana Karma Samuchayavada is again discussed here. So let us see this Sambandha Bhashyam first. So Sambandha Bhashyam is something like an introduction. Sambandha Bhashya is, Sambandha is that which is going to connect you with the subject. That is introductory, that which introduces you into the Shastra. So this is called Sambandha Bhashya. It is basically a traditional approach. Give that introduction first and then lead you into the Shastra. Let us see this, let us start this thing. Shastrasya Pravrutti Nivrutti Vishayabhute Dve Buddhi Bhagavata Nirdishte Sankhye Buddhihi Yoge Buddhihi iti cha. Tatra Prajahati Yada Kaman Ityarabhya Adhyaya Parisamaptehe Sankhya Buddhyashritanam Sannyasam Kartavyam Uktva Tesham Tannishthatayaivacha Krutarthata Ukta Yesha Brahmi Sthitihi iti. Okay. So he is again recapitulating. Shankaracharya is doing some sort of recap of this chapter 2. Shastrasya pravrutti nivrutti vishayabhute dve buddhi bhagavata nirdishte. Dve buddhi, that is two types of understanding. Dve buddhi, two types of understanding. Bhagavata means Bhagavata Shankarena, by Shankaracharya. Bhagavata means by Shankaracharya, by Bhagavan. By the word Bhagavan, he is referring to Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is usually, so here not Shankaracharya, he is referring to Lord Krishna. Of course, other people they refer to Shankaracharya also as Bhagavan. So that is okay. So Bhagavata, here Bhagavata is by Lord Krishna. By Lord Krishna, two types of understanding have been proposed or postulated. What are they? Shastrasya Pravrutti Nivrutti Vishayabhute. Shastrasya, Vedanta Shastrasya, of this Vedanta Shastra, there is what is called Pravrutti, there is what is called Nivrutti. That is engagement in action, that is the path of action, Pravrutti, and the path of Nivrutti, the path of renunciation. The path of renunciation is another thing, Jnana Nishtha. One is action and one is renunciation. These two things, Pravrutti, Nivrutti, Vishayabhute, that is the subject matter for Pravrutti and subject matter for Nivrutti. Vishayabhute means subject matter. The subject matter for Pravrutti and Nivrutti, what are they? The two types of understanding. What are those two types of understanding? Sankhya Buddhihi, Yoge Buddhihi. This Sankhya Buddhi is for Nivrutti. Sankhya we know. Sankhya means Jnanam. Sankhya, the word Sankhya means Jnanam. Samyak Khyayate Atma Tattvam Anena iti Sankhyam. Samyak Khyayate Atma Tattvam. So by which this knowledge of Atman is known, that is called Sankhyam. So Sankhya Buddhi is understanding of that self. So that is called Jnana path. Then Yoge Buddhi. Yoge Buddhi means that is a person who is engaged in action and at the same time that action is contributing to his spiritual development. That action is not contributing to his personal aggrandizement or abhyudaya. This action, which we are talking about here, is contributing to his spiritual development. That is by way of Chitta Shuddhi. In fact, Madhusudana Saraswati, in his notes, he is giving a beautiful line. I will read out this line and explain. Adau Nishkama Karma Nishtha. That is in the beginning, that is Nishkama Karma Nishtha to start with. Tataha Antahkarana Shuddhihi. By this Nishkama Karma itself one does not attain moksha. Nishkama Karma is only a preparatory stage. It only cleans your mind. Then by that Nishkama Karma, Antahkarana Shuddhi. Tataha, from that, Shamadamadi Sadhana Purassaraha Sarva Karma Sannyasa. So from there, a person undergoes that spiritual discipline. Shama, Dama, like that, Shama, Damadi, Sadhana, Purassaraha. All that, those things have to be practiced. All these spiritual exercises, all these things have to be practiced. And simultaneously, this karma sannyasa has to be practiced as a step or as a process, in the process of jnana. Then tataha Vedanta Vakya Vichara Sahita Bhagavad Bhakti Nishtha. Then you have to start along with spiritual practice like this Shama, Dhamma and all these things. Then Vedanta Vakya Shravanam you have to start. Then Vedanta Vakya, this Shravana, Mananam, and then recap, thinking on those things and then meditating on those concepts. So all that thing has to be developed. Tataha Sattva Jnana Nishtha. then that will lead you to Tattva Jnana Nishta. That process of Shravana Manana, it will lead you to Nishta. So by which, what do we understand by this? So this Nishkama Karma is leading you to Chitta Shuddhi, is giving you Chitta Shuddhi, and this is the preparatory stage. So Sankhya Buddhi, Yoga Buddhi means this Yoga Buddhi is basically helping you in spiritual development. Sankhya Buddhi, Yoga Buddhi iti cha. Tatra Prajahati Yada Kaman Ityarabhya. Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Parthamanogatan. That's what we saw in Shastra. This shloka number is it there in your? Sorry?
Second chapter, 55th.
55th shloka. In this book, of course, they have not given the number. The 55th shloka of second chapter. So Prajahati Yada Kaman. That is all giving up all the desires, etc. Ityarabhya. Adhyaya Parisamaptehe Sankhya Buddhyashritanam Sannyasam Kartavyamuktua. So Adhyaya Parisamaptehe means till the end of the chapter. Adhyaya Parisamaptehe means till the end of that chapter. What has been described? Sankhya Buddhyashritanam Sannyasam Kartavyamuktua. Sankhya Buddhyashritanam, for those who are seeking that Jnana Nishta, for those who are seeking that the path of renunciation, the path of knowledge, not let us say path of knowledge. Sankhya Buddhi Ashritanam, for them Sannyasam Kartavya Muktva. For them what has been prescribed? For those people who want to be in that path of knowledge, this karma sannyasa, that is renunciation of all actions, has been propounded or has been recommended by the Lord. Then Tesham Tannishtatayivat Krutarthata Ukta. And for those people, it has been said that in this process only you will get Krutarthata. You will attain what you desire. Krutarthata, what you desire will be achieved in this process only. So it has been told to them, what you desire, that is moksha. What you desire is liberation, let us say. That liberation from all bondages. So all that thing you will only get through this path of Jnana. So that has been told starting from the shloka Prajahati Yada Kaman. Starting from that till the end of the chapter, it has been told like that. Then it has also been said, Yesha Brahmi Sthitihi iti. That Yesha Brahmi Sthiti was the last shloka of second Adhyaya. This is called the Brahmi Sthiti. This is the status of a Jnani. This is how Jnani behaves. So that is what we saw in the last class. Then Arjuna Yacha Karmanyevadhikaraste Mate Sangostvakkarmani Iti Karmaiva Kartavya Muktavan Yoga Buddhim Ashritya. Okay, for Arjuna. Arjunaya means for Arjuna. Arjunaya is in Chaturthi Bhakti. Arjunaya, for Arjuna. What was told? Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. So on one hand he said this Sankhya Buddhi is what will give you Krutarthata, what you desire, that liberation or moksha will come only through that. But for Arjuna, in the same breath he said Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. Only you have your level, or you are only qualified to do karma. You are only eligible to do this karma. You are not yet eligible for that jnana. So that is what he said. Karmanyeva adhikaraha, you have to do this karma alone. So he said like that. Mate sangostva karmani. But also he said Karmanyeva adhikaraka, and also he said Mate sangostva karmani. So don't get attracted towards inaction. Akarma. Akarma is inaction. Ma te sangaha astu akarmani. Akarmani means in inaction. Ma te sangaha astu. May you not develop any attachment. When once you say that you only have a karmanyeva adhikaraha, ma phaleshu kadachana, you will not let you not bother for the fruit of that action. So when you say that, a man will say, no, why should I do action? So he also then, that is why in the same shloka it is said, may you not develop any type of attachment for inaction. Mate sangaha astu akarmani. May you not develop any love for inaction or akarma. So that means you have to do karma for the sake of a larger order, for the sake of larger universal order, as an order from the Lord, in the interest of loka sangraha, in the interest of setting up a good example for others. So all these things which are there, which are components of that, which are the different points in that nishkama karma. So Arjunaya कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मातोसंगोस्व कर्मणि इति कर्म एव कर्तव्यम उक्तवान् कर्म एव कर्तव्यम उक्तवान्. So it has been told to him, karma is for you. This is, it has to be told, you have to do karma. Then yoga buddhim ashritya. Yoga buddhim ashritya means say ashritya actually means taking recourse to. Here, of course, not taking recourse to. Yoga buddhi ashritya means recommending yoga buddhi. We can say like that. Ashritya means taking ashraya under somebody. What is taking ashraya under somebody? Taking recourse to something. So, but here, yoga buddhi ashritya means say recommending this yoga buddhi to Arjuna. He recommended Sankhya buddhi to people, some other people. Whereas in the case of Arjuna, he recommended this yoga buddhi. Then, na tatayeva, did we read this? Na tatayeva shreyah prapti muktavan. Tadetad alakshya paryakulibhuta buddhihi Arjuna uvacha. Okay. Na tatayeva moksha prapti muktavan. Na tatayeva means by that itself. By that means by what? By nishkama karma itself. He prescribed, let us say, he prescribed nishkama karma to Arjuna. But then he did not say that by that he will get moksha. Whereas in the name of in the case of Jnana-nishtha, he said by following that Jnana-nishtha you will get moksha. But he prescribed karma-nishtha or that nishkama karma to Arjuna. But na tatayeva, by that only he did not say moksha prapti. He did not say that you will get moksha by this. Now tatayeva, by that itself, moksha praptim uktavan, tad etad alakshya paryakuli bhuta buddhihi Arjuna uvaja. Tad etad alakshya. Having seen this, having noticed this, tad etad alakshya, having noticed this, paryakuli bhuta buddhihi. Paryakuli bhuta means Arjuna was rather perplexed, he was rather confused, he was rather confounded. Why is Lord Krishna saying like this? Lord Krishna is on one hand saying that it is Jnana-nishtha which is going to give you liberation, but at the same time he is actually prescribing me Karma Yoga, and then by that he is not promising any type of moksha. Why is he doing so? So his mind was rather perplexed. Sankhya tadetad alakshya paryakuli bhuta buddhihi Arjuna uvacha katham bhaktaya श्रेयोर्थिने यत् साक्षात् श्रेयस्साधनं सांख्यबुद्धिनिष्ठां श्रावयित्वा मां कर्मणि दृष्ट अनेक अनर्थयुक्ते पारंपर्येणापि अनैकान्तिक श्रेयः प्राप्तिफले नियुञ्ज्यात् इति युक्तः पर्याकुलीभावो अर्जुनस्य तदनुरूपश्च प्रश्नः जायसी चेत् इत्यादिः. Okay, so Shankaracharya is justifying this Arjuna's question. Arjuna's question is, let us see the question. Arjuna's question is this: Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Hey Janardana, that is the first sloka I am reading. I will again explain to you. The first Arjuna's question is like this: O Janardana, if you are saying, or if your intention, or if your contention, let us say, if your contention is that buddhi, that is jnanam, is superior to karma, tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi Keshava. Then, O Keshava, why are you say prompting me to do karma? Niyojayasi. Why are you prompting me? Why are you directing me into that path of karma? So that is the question of say Arjuna. Of course, we will come to that sloka again. So this Jayasi chet karmanaste, this question of Arjuna is really appropriate. It is justified. That is what Arjuna says, Shankaracharya is saying. How is it justified? Katham bhaktaya shreyorthine. Bhaktaya. So Arjuna is qualifying himself. He is calling himself a bhakta. Bhakta is somebody who has surrendered to before a superior being. He is a bhakta. In the very first, in the second chapter itself, we saw Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Shishya teham mam shadhi. Shadhi means you order me, you direct me, you rule me, let us say, Shadhi. So you just give a direction to me. So that is the state of surrender. So that is the stage of a bhakta. A bhakta surrenders before the Lord. So katham bhaktaya shreyorthine. I am also a shreyorthi, not only a mode of bhakta. I am not such a bhakta who is asking for some any personal aggrandizement or anything, but I am a shreyorthi. I want shreyas, I want moksha. Shreyas we know, shreyas is moksha, as distinguished from preyas. Preyas is abhyudaya, shreyas is nishreyasa. That is, shreyas is moksha. So shreyorthine, for me who am the shreyorthi, who is desirous of moksha. I am desirous of moksha. I am number one a bhakta. I am also desirous of moksha. For me, yat sakshat shreyasadhanam sankhya buddhi nishtam shravayitva. Shravayitva is again a beautiful expression. So he has praised, he has sung all praises about that jnana nishta. Shravayitva. That means he made me hear. He made me hear but did not prescribe. So it is like something describing you all nice things which are there in some place, but then I am asking you to go to a smaller place. So it is like that. So he has described all the great qualities of Jnana Nishtha, Shravayitva. He has described all the great qualities of great advantages of that Jnana Nishtha, and at the same time he is asking me to follow your lower path. All this Sakshat Shreyas Sadhanam, Sankhya Buddhi Nishtam. Sankhya Buddhi Nishtha, he sang praise, all praise of that Sankhya Buddhi Nishtha. Nishtha is a continuous pursuit, a dedicated pursuit is Nishtha. Nishtha, Nishchayana Avasthanam, that is a dedicated pursuit is that Nishtha. Sankhya Buddhi Nishtha is pursuit in that Jnana path, a dedicated or determined pursuit of that Jnana path is that Sankhya Buddhi Nishtha. So he sang praise of that Sankhya Buddhi Nishtha. Why? Because it is Sakshat Shreyas Sadhanam. It is directly leading to moksha. We also know these words Sakshad and Arat. Sakshad Upakarakam and Arat Upakarakam. Sakshad Upakarakam is Jnanam. Jnana Deva Moksha. And then what is the remotely connected thing? Karma Nishtha is remotely connected, because Karma Nishtha is not totally useless. Karma Nishtha is producing Chitta Shuddhi and whatnot. One is a sadhana, let us say. Karma is a sadhanam, and sadhyam is that which has to be attained. Sadhanam is a tool, and sadhyam is that which has to be attained. What is that sadhyam? Is moksha. It is otherwise described as hetu phala. Anandagiri writes as hetu phala bhutam. One is a hetu and another is phala. Hetu means the tool or karanam, and the phalam, that is the result. Result is moksha. So Jnana Nishtha is the hetu, Karma Nishtha is the hetu, Jnana Nishtha is the phalam. Karma Nishtha is the sadhana, and Jnana Nishtha is the sadhyam. And similarly we can also say that is upaya and upeya. Karma Nishtha is upaya. Upaya means a path. Upa plus aya, upaya, a means. Upaya is a means. Upeya is something you achieve by that means. So these four different varieties it has been explained. One is a hetu and a phalam. The other is a sadhana and a sadhya. The other is an upaya and an upeya. So it is basically Karma Nishtha is a sort of preparatory stage for attainment of liberation. So you follow that?
Yes.
So these four different ways it can be explained. So Sakshat Shreyas Sadhanam, and Jnana Nishtha is Sakshat Shreyas Sadhanam, whereas Karma Nishtha is Arat Upakarakam. Arat means remotely Upakarakam. It is remotely helpful, in the sense that it will just prepare you. It will just enable you to do something, and then from that time onwards it is your own individual will, your own free will, and your own determination to pursue that path. All those things they play a role. Not necessarily Chitta Shuddhi alone will not is not enough. Thereafter you have to go to a teacher, you have to pursue, you have to be determined to follow that path. So that is why it is called Arad Upakarakam. It is distantly kind of helpful. So Saksha Shreyas Sadhanam Sankhya Buddhi Nishtam Shravayitva Mam Karmani Drushta Aneka Anartha Yukte. Did we read this?
Yes.
Yeah, we read this. Mam, he is directing me. Karmani, he is Karmani in action, in the path of action he is directing me. And what type of what are the consequences of that path of action? So he is describing Drushta Aneka Anarthayukte. Lot many pitfalls are seen in this path. Drushta Aneka Anarthayuktam. Drushta, it is seen. Aneka, not one but many. Anarthayuktam, so many pitfalls, so many lapses, so many negative things are perceived in this path. Not one. So in this path of knowledge, in this path of action, there are so many temptations. There are so many temptations. Anyway, something like a government servant who is handling thousands and thousands of crores. There are so many temptations. Some rich businessman will come and he will try to tempt you. So like that, drushta aneka anartha yuktam. So it is beset with so many pitfalls. There are so many pitfalls which are built into that. So like that, so drushta aneka anartha yukte. Then paramparyeena api anaikantika shreyah prapti phale. Paramparyeena api, even by stages, even sequentially, we know that this is arad upakarakam, distantly connected. But then this karma yoga, it is a continuous process of temptation. You are continuously handling people, you are continuously coming across situations, you are continuously handling situations, and then you should be untempted in so many situations, not once, but not twice, but several times. Again and again and again, you are confronting so many things which may lead you, which may distract you, which may pull you away. So these are all the pitfalls. Paramparyeena api, even by sequence, even by stages, there is no guarantee. Paramparyeena api anaikantika nishreyah prapti phale. Anaikantika, that is uncertain. Anaikantika is uncertain. There is something which is not guaranteed. So in this karma nishtha is something where it is not, this moksha is not guaranteed. It is only enabling you to a particular level. There is no guarantee that you will attain moksha. So these are all the pitfalls here. Paramparyeena api anaikantika nishreyah prapti phale. Nishreyah prapti, that is attainment of moksha. Nishreyah prapti is attainment of moksha, is something which is not guaranteed in this thing, karma nishtha, because it is beset with so many pitfalls. It is fraught with so many dangers. This path is fraught with so many dangers, and drushta aneka anartha yukte. All those things are seen, they are visible in front of you. So that is it. Aneka nishreyasa prapti phale niyunjyat. Niyunjyat means he is directing me. Niyunjyat, Lord Krishna is directing me. He is putting me in that path. Niyunjyat. Niyojayati. Niyojayati Keshava. Niyojayati is yojayati. That is, he is put somebody in that thing. Yojayati. Niyogi. You have heard the word Niyogi? Vaidiki and Niyogi. So Vaidiki is somebody who is in that, who is studying Vedas and all those things. Niyogi is somebody who has been appointed, who gets an appointment in the king's court or something like that. So in olden days, there were two types of Brahmins. One group of Brahmins, they dedicated themselves to the study of Vedas and things like that. Another group of Brahmins, they also went to kings, and then they became poets, they became courtiers, and then they also writing some kavyas and whatnot. They also they worked as ministers in king's courts. So they were called niyogis. Niyogi because appointed person. Niyogi, niyukta is appointed. Niyogi is somebody who has been appointed. So niyunjat is the same root, yuj. That is, he has been appointed in that path, he has been directed, he has been put in that path. So niyunjyat iti yuktaha paryakuli bhavaha arjunasya. So this paryakuli bhavaha, this feeling of confusion, this feeling of perplexity of mind is something which is yukta. It is something which is understandable. It is something which is appropriate. We can as well sympathize with Arjuna. That is what Shankaracharya is saying. We can as well understand his plight. We can as well not exactly sympathize. It is highly justified. This man's perplexity, this man's confusion of mind is something which is justified. Yuktaha paryakuli bhavaha arjunasya tad anurupasya prashnaha. And this prashna which Arjuna is putting is in accordance with his perplexity, he is in accordance with his confusion. That is, this question is basically reflecting his confounded state of mind. Jayasi chet ityadihi. Prashna apakarana vakyam cha.
Prashna apakarana vakyam cha.
Apakarana vakyam cha.
Apakarana vakyam cha.
Bhagavata uktam.
Bhagavata भगवता उक्तं
यथोक्त विषय विभागे शास्त्रे
यथोक्त विभाग विषये शास्त्रे.
Yes, यथोक्त विभाग विषये शास्त्रे. I read it as what? विषय विभागे. Did I read like that? Okay. Sorry. यथोक्त विभाग विषये शास्त्रे. So, प्रश्न अपाकरण वाक्यम च भगवता उक्तम. भगवता means by Lord. By Lord means by Lord Krishna. प्रश्न अपाकरण वाक्यम उक्तम. So he has also given a suitable reply. He has also given a proper reply which totally explained, which totally answered that question. A reply which completely answered that question or perfectly answered that question. Prashna apakarana vakyam, which completely answered, which completely nullified that question, let us say. Which completely, apakaranam actually means to remove. But here it is not a question of removing the question, totally clarifying in that sense. Prashna apakarana vakya means a reply which totally clarifies. That prashna has been told by Lord. What is that? Yathokta vibhaga vishaye shastre. In the same shastra. Shastra means a text, a particular portion of the text. Not only the whole text is called shastra, even a particular portion of the text is called shastra. Yathokta vibhaga vishaye shastre, where that division has been made. Then there, what is that place? This is the same, the third shloka, Lokesmin Vividhanishta. In the same third chapter, the third shloka is there. Lokesmin Vividhanishta Pura Prokta Mayanaka. So in that shloka, Lord Krishna is very clearly explaining, he is very clearly giving the reply to this question, totally answering what Arjuna had questioned. So this sentence is clear. Prashna apakarana vakyam cha bhagavata uktam yathokta vibhaga vishaye shastre. Next, kechittu arjunasya prashnartham anyatha kalpayitva tat pratikulam bhagavatah prativachanam varnayanti. So here there is some discussion. So the difficulty with this discussion is Shankaracharya is referring to some book which does not exist now. Shankaracharya, in the very beginning, he has said in this very first Sambandha Bhashya, Anekaihi, this book has been commented upon by several people. Anekaihi, Vivruta Pada Padartha Nyayamapi, something like that he said. This book, somewhere it is there. Anekaihi Vivruta Pada Padartha Nyayamapi. I will again explain, that's what he was saying. Many people have explained this book prior to me, and then it has led to a lot of confusion. So in order to sort out that confusion, Yathamati, I am doing this Vyakhyanam. That is what he had said somewhere. Where is this? Idam Gita Shastram Tadaviskarana. Here it is. Idam Gita Shastram Samasta Vedartha Sara Sangraha Bhutam. That is what he said. This Gita Shastra is the summary of the whole of Vedartha. Then Tadartha Avishkaranaya Anekaihi Vivruta Padartha Vakyartha Nyayamapi. So many people have commented on this Padartha, even verbatim, and Vakyartha. Pada and Vakya, I told the difference. Padartha and Vakyartha. Vakyartha means how to interpret a particular sentence in a particular context. So many people have commented on all these things, Padashastra and Vakyashastra, taking recourse to this Padashastra and Vakyashastra, they have commented on these things. Atyanta viruddha anekarthatvena laukikaihi gruhyamanatvat. Even then, there is so much of confusion. There appear to be so many contradictions in their explanations. So that is why Vivekataha artha nirdharanam samkshepataha vivranam karishyami. So I want to discriminate and I want to clearly mention as to what is there in this Shastra. So that is what he has said. So he is referring to one book, Kechit. Kechit means, what is that? Some people. Kashchit is somebody. Kechit is plural. Kechit, that is some people. So he is referring to one school of thought which was, mainly one person rather, let us say. One person was called Vruttikara. Vritti is, on Gita, he must have written a Vritti. Vritti is a commentary in verse. You see, all this Vritti, it is a commentary in verse. So, Vrittikara is somebody who had written some shlokas by way of commentary on Gita. And this Vrittikara's name was Bodhayana. So, unfortunately, that man's book is not available. Probably it was available, say, right up to, say, Ramanujacharya's time, because Ramanujacharya supports this Bodhayana's point of view. So, Ramanujacharya's time, probably that book must have been there. Subsequently, probably we do not know how that book got lost. And Shankaracharya's time, certainly the book was available. That is why he is referring to that Vrittikara several times. So, the discussion is rather not very relevant for the modern days, because for this reason. So, he is referring to this Mimamsakas, number one. Mimamsakas, right now that Mimamsaka attitude is there even today. Mimamsaka attitude means the human mind is basically interested in ritual, or human mind is very happily settled in ritual. If you are asked to read a book, you will find it rather difficult to read a book. But if you are asked to sit in a ritual, okay, that is, you can happily sit in a ritual. You are prepared to pay some 1,000 rupees. You are prepared to do, wear some pattu dhoti and whatnot, and then that ritual gives you some physical satisfaction. But if you are asked to read a book, or if you are asked to sit in a Vedanta class and then study all this Shastra, you will find it difficult. So, Mimamsa is something which is very, human mind is very comfortable with that situation. But then here, we are also referring to various other things. Say, here we are referring to, say, for a sannyasi, what was prescribed. For a gruhastha, what was prescribed. For a sannyasi, yavajjiva karma. So, for a gruhastha, shrauta karma, there is a division between shrauta karma and smarta karma. So, various things, they will come into picture, which are strictly speaking not relevant today. But then still, we have to do justice to Shankaracharya's text. So, I will briefly explain, but this particular portion, they say it is not so important for the present day. Though the Mimamsaka attitude is very relevant even today, we are going into further details about this sannyasa and gruhastha and what is prescribed for whom and what not, because we are neither doing shrauta karmas nor doing smarta karmas now. Shrauta karma is something which is prescribed in the Shruti. Shruti is Veda. Shruti is Veda. Shruti prescribes some types of karmas, some yajna, some type of ishti, it prescribes. Then Smrutis, they also prescribe some other yajnas. Smruti, we know what are these Smrutis. Some say this Purana, that Purana, and various other Yajnavalkya Smruti, Parashara Smruti, and so many things. The Smrutis are there. There is what is called a Prayaschitta Kanda. There is a Vyavahara Kanda. There is a Prayaschitta Kanda. Prayaschitta Kanda means when you do something wrong. So there is a question of you have to pay, you have to do some penance for that. And what is the penance for that? Some sort of, some puja, some sort of vratam is prescribed. You do this vratam, you do that vratam. So sometimes this vratas and yajnas, so they are all prescribed, they are also prescribed in smrutis. Whatever is prescribed in smruti is called smarta. Whatever is prescribed by Veda, that is Shruti, is called Shrauta. So this Shrauta karma and Smarta karma. So there is a reference to all those things here. But because we are neither doing Shrauta karma nor Smarta karma, nor are we following that ashrama, say, division strictly. Nowadays, we are not, in olden days, that Brahmacharya is staying in a Gurukulam and then studying Vedas. That is Brahmacharya. Not by Brahmachari. By Brahmachari, we should not refer to a bachelor. Brahmachari means somebody who is in a Gurukula studying this Veda and then deeply studying this Upanishads, rather. That is Brahmacharya. Brahmani charati iti Brahmachari. So somebody who is in Brahmacharya ashrama, then he graduates to Grihastha ashrama, thereafter he goes to Vanaprastha, thereafter he goes to Sannyasa. We are not observing all those things. So some of the discussion may appear not very relevant here. But I will explain these things because we have to do justice to the text. So let us read this line. Kechittu Arjunasya prashnartham anyatha kalpayitva tat pratikulam bhagavatah prativachanam varnayanti. Did we read this?
Yes.
Kechittu. Did we read this? We read this thing. So some people, they give a different meaning to what Arjuna is asking. They give a totally different meaning. So, or rather, they are construing Arjuna's question and also Krishna's reply in a totally different way. What is Arjuna's question? Arjuna's question is, you have described two buddhis. that is Yoga Buddhi and Jnana Buddhi. And you are saying that Jnana Buddhi is supreme and superior. In which case, why are you prescribing this Jnana, this Karma Buddhi to me? That is what is Shankaracharya's understanding of this shloka. Whereas Bodhayana and some others, they gave a different meaning. Because they presume that Jnana Karma Samuchaya is what has been proposed or what has been advocated in Gita Shastra. Bodhayana's point of view is that Jnana Karma Samuchaya, that is a combination of Jnana and Karma. These two things are incompatible, I said. We discussed in the last class also. Jnana and Karma, why are they incompatible? Karma is something which will give you some, their idea of Jnana Karma Samuchaya is not Jnani Karma is different. Jnani Karma is, we should not have a confusion between Jnana Karma Samuchaya and the type of action which Krishna or Janaka does. Krishna and Janaka, they are Jnanis. They are performing their karma only for Prarabdha Kshaya. But then the Jnana Karma Samuchaya is something different. Jnana Karma Samuchaya is you study Shastra on one side, you study Vedanta, you study this Shravana Manana and whatnot, and at the same time you do a puja for the sake of Swarga. So Swarga and Moksha are two things which don't coexist. Whatever we conceive as a Swarga is at a physical level. Moksha, you are getting out of it. You are treating this Swarga as something which is inferior. Moksha is something which is a liberated stage where you consider this Swarga is as something inferior. Why is Swarga inferior? Why, if we see, what is the defect in Swarga? Whatever pleasures are there in this world, we are visualizing in a much greater fashion in Swarga. So there are some physical pleasures, maybe in some Paris or Switzerland or some such place, there are some physical pleasures. So you are visualizing more pleasures there in that Swarga. It is all at the sensual level only. It is all at the level of senses. You are having nicer drinks there. You are having the same damsels and drinks whom you do not find here. In fact, say this description of Swarga is so funny that some years ago, a couple of years ago when I was in government service, I happened to see, only 3 minutes. A couple of years ago when I was in government service, we happened to seize some of the CDs from some of these jihadi leaders. So though there, the jihadi, they are all there in the government. They are there in the government. They are there in the courts. The CDs are very much, in fact, you may see them on internet also. So these CDs, they say how the jihadi leaders they encourage is, if you do this particular act of jihad, or if you kill this kafir, or if you do this, you will get so many number of damsels in heaven. So this thing is physically described, and all these ill-educated people, totally uneducated people who are only studying in that foolish line and who are never exposed to any education, these people believe that the moment I kill this man, I will go to Swarga and I will have half a dozen damsels. So this is what is prescribed in this karma, this path. So the heaven is something which is only at the sensual level. You are not getting here. You are dreaming of getting there. And Vedanta accepts it as a Vyavaharika Satya. It is not accepting it as a Paramarthika Satya. At Paramarthika level, there is no Swarga. At a Paramarthika level, there is Shuddha Chaitanya. And whatever you say, this is Swarga or heaven or Jannat, whatever it is there in the state of Ajnana or Avidya or ignorance. So that is that is how Vedanta treats this. It is only a Vyavaharika Satya. Jannat, Swarga is something a Vyavaharika Satya and not a Paramarthika Satya. So this is what we have to understand. This is the basic defect in Swarga. It is a sort of extended honeymoon, let us say. More and more physical pleasures. But this Jnana is something different. Path of Jnana is opposed to belief system. Jnana is inquiry. Inquiry is something which is opposed to belief system. A person who is a jihadi who says yes, by doing this thing I will go to heaven. So this is a belief. Whereas Jnana, it does not involve any belief system. Jnana is basically about inquiry. What is you? Who are you? What are your senses? You look inwards And what are you? You are that Shuddha Chaitanya. So this is the level at which Jnana path talks. So that is why this Jnana and Karma, they cannot be compatible. This Jnana Karma Samuchaya is opposed by Shankaracharya only for this reason. Not as though he is angry with this, all these rituals and whatnot. Rituals are required. We should not totally condemn them. I have been repeatedly saying that because somebody put a question, should we not do puja? I also do puja because my family tradition is that we have a particular family deity. We have got some Narasimha Salagramam. Narasimha Swami is my family deity. So we have got a family, that Narasimha Salagramam, which I do some puja because my father was worshipping, my grandfather was worshipping, and then so that Narasimha Salagramam, that Panchayatanam is there. So where I put this Aditya, Ambika, Vishnu and whatnot. So I put all those things, I do that. And I do with all sincerity, with great love. Say, I do not know how far I can claim that I am doing it as a Nishkama Karma, but then I do with great love and affection, but at the same time I also do this Sandhyavandana, which is an Upasana. So this karma is something which is required for social order. It is something like a drill. So karma, the important thing about karma is, it is like something like an army drill. If you go to an army man and say, okay, you remove all your drills, then he will feel totally, he cannot agree, because that is something which gives some discipline in a person. If you dilute the drill, that discipline is gone. So it is something like that. This karma is something like a drill. So this is which cannot be totally avoided. But at the same time, it has to be put in the proper place. So that is what Shankaracharya is doing here. So this Anyatha Kalpayitva, so this Bodhayana and others, their contention is that, time is over. Bodhayana and others, their contention is that it is Jnana Karma Samuchaya which has been proposed or advocated in Gita Shastra. But at the same time, in this in chapter 2, Krishna has said that Jnana is supreme. So in that case, that is the question of Arjuna. When you have also said about Jnana Karma Samuchaya, and you are saying that Jnana is superior, then why you are prompting me to karma? So this is something which is contrary to what is the actual interpretation of this shloka. So that is Shankaracharya's contention. We will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.